the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report, part of the Evergreen Podcast Network, show number 364 for Thursday, January 30th. Scott Hammer, Ron Miller coming at you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch from the Dominator Race Products studio. Tonight on the show, I've got a little bit to talk about. Barry Marlow is going to join us from the Great Lake Sprint Series, the Great Lake Super Sprints, Great Lake Traditional Sprints, and the Lightning Sprints.
And he's always got a lot going on.
He does. And also ice sprints, but doesn't sound like there may not be anything going on this year with that. So we'll talk to Barry about that as well. Also, Brian Shirley had a pretty scary fire. What was that, 2 nights ago now?
Yes.
During a Hunt the Front race down in Needmore Speedway, I believe.
Needmore Speedway, yep.
And,
you got it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. There was some interesting stuff that came out of that. Plus, we'll be giving away some East of Chicago pizza.
Ooh.
We have one last one of these Hammer Down Racing Report window stickers to give away, courtesy of DCR Graphics, which, of course, you can always purchase from DCR if you don't win. But hashtag DCR if you want to get in on the drawing for that tonight. Pop that right up
and
there.
That sticker would allow you to enter into the
Hammer Down Army.
Hammer Down Army.
Yes,
exactly.
for 2025. And taking re-enlistments for that from last year. So far, we haven't got anybody yet.
Really?
It's they're
usually slacking.
Well, people don't have their cars together because in order to do it, you got to take a picture of the Hammer Down Race Report sticker on your car for 2025. Like mine, I don't have anything on my car right now, so I totally understand. And actually, I've had people reach out to me where they could get the sticker. Again, you can get those from DCR Graphics. So, we got that to give away, plus the pizza. And all the latest racing news and results. Stick around for all that. Got to mention Victory Fuel. Had a rewrite on this. You ready?
Really?
Yeah. The ultimate flavored electrolyte water to power your day. Packed with a full load of electrolytes, 120% of your daily vitamins, and absolutely no artificial coloring, caffeine, or carbonation. Just pure, refreshing hydration. It's no wonder Victory Fuel is the top choice for race teams on race day, helping them stay at peak performance when it matters most. Ready to stock up? Contact your local sales representative, Tanya Conley, for track concessions and business wholesale inquiries at tanya@drinkvictory.com or order online at drinkvictory.com. And don't forget to use discount code Conley Racing at checkout for exclusive savings. Victory Fuel, because champions deserve the best.
Whoa.
Yeah. Are you a racer or a fan looking to capture every thrilling moment on the track? Look no further than Freeze Frame Photos, your go-to for all your racing photo needs, whether it's heart-pounding action shots or those unforgettable victory lane moments. Freeze Frame Photos has you covered, but that's not all. They offer a fantastic range of custom gifts to commemorate your favorite racers, including print magnets, can koozies, tumblers, wood plaques, custom sleeve photos, wind spinners, and buttons, just to name a few. If you want to add a personal touch, no problem. Freeze Frame Photos can customize any photo or gift item with your own text and graphics as well, making each piece uniquely yours. Call Charlie today at 419-407-6984 and let Freeze Frame Photos turn your favorite memories into timeless treasures. Freeze Frame Photos, special moments frozen in time.
Wow.
Yeah, also got to mention Oakshade Raceway, Dominator Race Products, Ron Miller Race Cars, Magic Moment Entertainment, and Ty Torrig Racing, also sponsors of the big show for you. Again, coming up very shortly, we'll be speaking with Barry Marlow of Great Lake Super Sprints. Before we get to him, we're going to go through our racing roundup, some action getting going
a little bit
this past week. And it's like it's a slow ramp up to race season in the States, at least. So it's everything moved here, so I have to do this is our racing roundup, right? So.
Racing Roundup.
Yeah, that's the one. World of Outlaw Late Model Series, Sunshine Nationals at Volusia. Last Thursday, of course, rained out, so no racing last Thursday. Friday night, Ryan Gustin picking up the win. And Saturday night, I had to switch over there, it was Garrett Alberson picking up the main event win at Volusia. That's a very fast track.
It is. And that Albertson race was fun to watch.
But I was busy entertaining, so I had it on, but I didn't get to watch it. Yeah. The Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona had a little bit of NASCAR kind of stuff happening during the week after it was over. Team Penske won the Grand Touring Prototype.
Right, GTP.
And then Towers Motorsports was first, we'll say, in the Le Mans Prototype 2, or LMP2.
Right.
But it was announced Wednesday that they were disqualified for a technical violation found during post-race inspection. They exceeded the maximum allowable wear to the regulated area of the skid block. What in the F does that mean? Is a skid block like a skid plate?
I don't know. That's above.
Did it wear too much? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, that's above my pay grade, dude.
I don't
know.
So anyway, the winner was declared United Autosports, and I believe Towers Motorsports got credit with last because of that infraction of the
That's the first time I've heard of
maximum
it.
allowable wear to the regulated area of the skid block.
Okay. That sounds really bad. I don't know.
Maybe the car was too low, and it's
yeah.
like a skid plate, and it ground too much of it. I think I saw something where it said 5 millimeters. So it's like a real tiny
5 mil is not very much.
Yeah, but anyway, other winners at the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona were Multimatic Motorsports winning the Grand Touring Daytona Pro Series, and AWA won the Grand Touring Daytona class. So there you go. Down Under Premier Speedway Flying Horse Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic Friday was Jamie Veal picking up the win in the sprint cars. Jamie May, your Super Rod winner. Saturday, Jock Goodyear once again. Another win there in the sprint cars. Sean Walsh, Super Rod winner. And Sunday, James McFadden winning in the sprint cars.
Surprise there.
And Stan Marco Jr. in the Super Rods. Yeah, but very familiar names winning in sprint cars down under. Albany Speedway on Saturday, Southern Street Stock Showdown and Super Sedan Summer Series. Joe Chambers picking up the win in the late models. Peter Herbert picking up the win in the street stocks. George Park in production sedan. Joel Bowman in the junior sedans. I was, for some reason, trying to make Herbert French.
Herbert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Esperance Speedway, Saturday night. Western Fuels Group SSA Production Sedan Western Australian title. Jacob Hill picking up the win there Saturday in the Top Star Junior Sedans. Lachlan Hickey, winner in the New Star Junior Sedans. Not to be confused with the Top Star Junior Sedans. Sunday was Kyle Sayer picking up the win in just the production sedans. And Mitchell Barrett winning New Star Juniors, Jacob Hill, and Top Star Juniors.
So New Star, I believe, is like a rookie class.
Okay. Is that your story and you're sticking to it?
That's it.
Sounds good to me. If you're looking to conquer the dirt track, Ty Torg Racing is your one-stop shop. They are your dirt oval authority, carrying out the top brands in racing parts and equipment, from Hoosier tires to all the latest chassis and engineer components. They got you covered. If you need expert advice, their knowledgeable staff is ready to help you find the right parts for your race car and your budget. Call Ty Torg Racing at 740-391-9990 or 419-307-2231. Or visit TyTorgRacing.com. Ty Torg Racing, your dirt oval authority. And Dean Henry associated with them, making a comment there about the
folks lost in the airplane accident in Washington.
Airplane helicopter crash midair. That's crazy stuff, man. Elevate your racing performance with Dominator Race Products, the premier choice for high quality Quality, durable race car components, from innovative nose pieces and balances to robust fenders and spoilers. Their products are engineered to enhance your vehicle's aerodynamics and durability on the track. Trusted by racers nationwide, Dominator Race Products delivers the reliability and performance you need to dominate the competition. Visit Dominator Race Products today or explore our extensive range of products and take your racing to the next level. I believe we have our guest.
Really? Barry's here already?
He's connected. I don't see him, but I see there. Now I see him there. He just popped in. Let's bring him up onto the screen. Uh-oh.
What?
I think there's something wrong with your audio. We'll take
Okay.
Not sure what's going on with the audio there, Barry.
Boy, a half hour of that would drive you nuts.
That was scary. Try and reconnect, and if we can't get you, we'll just dial you up on the phone. How's that? All right, we got a thumbs up from him. So in the meantime, let's bust out a couple more commercials here while he's reconnecting. That way we don't have to do these later. Get ready, race fans. The 2025 Oakshade Raceway season kicks off on Saturday, April 26th with DCR Graphic Sportsman, Dominator Superstocks, and Compacts. Then Saturday, May 3rd is going to be a full show with those three classes, including the addition of late models. Barney Oldfield race is set for Saturday, June 14th. Make sure to mark your calendars for one of the most electrifying nights of the year, the annual birthday race, featuring the UMP Dirt Car Summer Nationals American Late Model Ironman Series. That takes place on Saturday, July 12th. You can stay in the loop on all the high-octane action by visiting oakshaderaceway.com. Follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest updates. Oakshade Raceway, where the fastest meet to race. Let's try. Let's see if we have better audio now.
Nothing.
Well, it's definitely different, but
It's like you're in an echo chamber and you kind of sound like a chipmunk.
Well,
I'll give you a call here on the phone. We'll get you that way.
better. I don't.
All right.
ooh,
He's got some. That's a first. I don't think I've heard that before.
no.
So we're gonna go old school this way.
364 shows, Scott, and that was a first.
I don't think that was our fault, though. I don't think it was, but
Who is it?
Hammer Down Racing Report. We can hear you now.
Wow. I don't know. I haven't had that happen before.
Could you hear the same thing we were hearing?
In the toilet?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. All I could hear is you guys talking.
Oh, okay.
But here we are.
Here
Hi,
we are.
Ron. Hi, Scott.
Hi, Bear.
Barry Marlow from Great Lake Super Sprints, Great Lake Traditional Sprints, Great Lake Lightning Sprints. Did I miss any?
I don't know.
I don't know. And the
I think that's it.
ice racing, and I was talking to you a couple weeks ago about that. Maybe it was a month ago. I don't remember. But what is the current status before we start talking about the Great Lakes Sprint Series? What's the current status of the sprints on ice this year up in Michigan?
We actually looks like there's going to be ice, but we've been on everybody's radar, and we don't have time to pull permits. Besides that, we don't really have enough cars. You know, we tried it out for 3 years, and we proved that we can do it, but we had inconsistent ice, and it's hard to get people motivated, you know, for one race or to do one thing. So besides that, we've been so busy. We got so much stuff going on that it takes a lot of time to do that. So I kind of made the decision early that we weren't going to bother with it this winter. And of course now we got ice, but
of course.
Anyway.
So do you still talk to the guys up there in the Northeast that do that ice racing up there?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, a gentleman had passed away. They lost those people that went through the ice, and things just kind of died off. Out, no pun.
No pun intended. Holy
yeah, okay.
I didn't hear about what happened. I did not hear anything about that.
Yeah, that was well, one of the old timers that have been doing it for years out there. You know, they were getting ready for a race, and you know, they had a truck with a bunch of fuel on it, and they were out they wanted to move the track over, and they were out in probably 30 feet of water. I mean, there was 30 feet of water under them.
Sure.
And the 4-wheel drive truck started to break through the ice, and the one guy on the passenger side got out, but the older gentleman didn't before it broke through the ice. That was it.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a bad deal. It was really a tragic thing. And
That
so,
definitely
we
put a
haven't
damper on
talked
things.
about
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm sure
It did.
Sure that if the folks in Michigan, insurance companies especially, got wind of that, I'm sure that doesn't help things either.
No, but the places that we had picked out in Houghton Lake and over at Misaki, over at Lake City, and even up on St. Mary's River, up at Barbo, up in the UP, you know, we were racing, you know, for the most part, where we laid out the tracks was 3-4 feet of water. It was in the shallows area.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Now Lake Misaki, though, over there, half of it was in that, half of it was in 35 feet of water. So you want to make sure you're going fast down the backstretch.
So have you completely abandoned the ice racing thing, or is that something you could revisit in coming seasons?
No, I haven't abandoned it. You know, people want to see the full-size sprint cars. And right now, I have 3 at best, maybe 4. And the timing of it, like Phil Gressman is one of them, but he's leaving for Florida Saturday. And, you know, we bounce into the guys that want to take a trip to Florida. Like Max Stamball is leaving in another week. So February gets chopped up by guys going down to race in Florida. And that's the other thing I ran into is guys are tying their vacations with racing in Florida, and it's hard to get them to come up and, you know, want to put studs on their ice or studs in their tires and stand out in the cold for an afternoon.
I think go to Florida, race on ice.
yeah. Florida wins.
So
yeah.
let's.
So no, I haven't abandoned it, Scott. It's on the shelf right now. I think if we have a solid winter of ice, that will be a little more enthusiasm. But last winter we had no ice.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on.
Well, I've got to believe we've had ice this winter.
Yeah. Well, that's because he shelved it. That's why.
That's right. That's right.
As soon as you try to revisit that, I'm sure we're gonna have warm temperature. You should probably bring it back because I'd be okay with warm winters. But anyway, Great Lakes Super Sprints. We got. Do we still have the two divisions? I guess the Michigan and Ohio divisions this year.
Yeah, that worked out really well, and it sure didn't hurt with our 2 newest sponsors, Michigan Cat and Ohio Cat. So it made it really a nice deal for the Ohio races are Ohio Cat, Michigan races are Michigan Cat. So it kind of made a nice way to package that.
And doing the same thing with the champion of each division, and then an overall champion again this year.
Yes. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
So what?
Yeah, I thought it worked out really well.
How, drivers, you get positive feedback from the drivers then on that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess that I think out loud. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I got positive feedback. I didn't hear anything. So hearing nothing is a good thing, isn't it?
I think
really?
So. Yeah. Yeah.
No news.
People people are usually more willing to complain about something and speak up than if they get good service or are happy with things. So
right.
So,
if I made a right turn, it should have been left. I hear about it right
absolutely, now. Yes. So what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no. I mean the positive thing. You know, I increased our points fund last year I don't like points funds being really big, but ours ended up really big. But I did that because I wanted to increase our purse last year, and I wasn't able to. So I kind of compensated for it in the points fund, and I was pretty proud of the fact that, our top, we paid out. First place took 14.5, second place took 13.8, third place took 10,005, fourth place took like 8,300, and fifth place took 7,700. I think seventh and eighth took 6,600 and $5,000.
That's pretty
so down to
impressive.
Seventh place was a pretty hefty, and that was a combination. Why the numbers aren't real nice and even is because they got paid for each of the divisions where they finished and the tour. Then I added all three of those together, and that's how they ended up like they were. But I think the total was 83,000 paid out to 14 people.
Wow.
At GLSS alone. So, yeah, I personally was proud of that. I mean, because it was a nice bonus at the end of the season for them.
How does that compare to when you first started up the GLSS?
I think my first year we were 22,000.
So yeah,
for our points fund, somewhere in that ballpark.
Right.
And then we kind of leveled. We kind of got it up to 36,000 for the top 10, and that's kind of where it was going into NRA. And then I think I went to about 50,000, and then we kind of blew it out this year. But we're going to be back in. I think it's going to be about 58,000 next year. But I increased the nightly purse $2,400, which across the course of our races, that's putting about 93,000, total going into the driver's pockets every night. So I increased the purses, which is, like I said, across the course of all the races, is about $93,000. And the points fund will still be about 58,000.
Not too shabby. I'd be happy with that.
No.
So what new tracks do we have on the schedule this year?
Well, we got Thunderbird. We added Thunderbird back up here in Michigan. The guys are happy about that. It's a nice little short track, and we always have a lot of fun there. We did add. I know it looks really odd. It's Great Lakes Super Sprints, but with East Bay not racing this year, and a lot of our guys like to go south, it kind of fit. It kind of fit starting our season early. So we're starting out the season down in Greenville, Mississippi, at Greenville Speedway, and then on a Friday night, April 4th, and then we're going to Jackson Speedway in Jackson, Mississippi on April 5th. So that's kind of a big addition. It's going to be 2 nights of King of the Wing, and I talked to Steve Oakes down there and at Haas or Hurricane Area Sprint Series, which I've worked with those guys for 6 years, and we've always wanted to put something together. So it kind of made sense this year. It worked out. There wasn't any 360 racing across the country really going on. So I kind of thought that's going to be a nice 2-day weekend in Mississippi.
So that'd be kind of, will that be kind of your guys versus their guys kind of thing?
Yeah. But I got a feeling we'll get, the Terry Grays and guys that like to travel around with Pete and USCS. And I think we'll have a nice group of cars, actually.
And those are non-GLSS point nights.
Yeah, that's not going to be a point night.
Okay.
And then the next weekend, we're going to stay right down there in Tennessee and do the 2-day show in Sweetwater, and that's where our points will start for the tour.
Then you start working your way back. Then you get to Michigan the week after that.
Yeah. Then we do a couple, and we get Crystal opened up, and the next weekend we open up at I-96, and then come down and open up at Lima, and then we're off and running. So. Of course, we got Lawrenceburg back on the schedule. We added another date with Eldora, so we're gaining ground there. we were kind of hoping to add in Mount Pillier again, but that didn't work out date-wise this year. So we're going to still keep working on some other tracks. But I still like the schedule, and it came out pretty good, actually.
What about the Great Lakes traditional sprints or the Lightning sprints? Any new tracks on their schedules?
Not new tracks, no. I mean, we got a couple shows at Lima. I think we'll be up Millstream a couple times. Don't know what other tracks are doing right at the moment. I mean, there's still some things up in the air down at least Northwest Ohio. Butler's on the schedule again. We have I-96 back on the schedule a couple times for the non-wing. Still trying to get one back at Crystal again. I mean, that's we're still working on that. Mount Pleasant, we haven't sat down and had our annual luncheon yet. That's usually the 1st of February. Tri-City, I'm working on. I got my Ouija board out, and I have a couple dates picked out at Tri-City, but I know they're not opening. But that's already been discussed. I just haven't finalized anything there. Of course, we'll be at Silver Bullet for non-wing as well. So it's coming. It's just it's been a slow boat to get it put together. So we're trying really hard not to be on top of anybody. You know, the non-wings, the car counts have gone down. There's really not any weekly tracks. Lawrenceburg's got them a couple times. Of course, Gas City's gone. Waynesfield doesn't run non-wing anymore. So try and really, and it takes a while to kind of look at people's schedules and see where we can put some races. Because there's no reason for us to be fighting over 30, 40 cars.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got Millstream back on the schedule. I know last year you had two races down there?
Yep.
And now you got looks to be at least 3. So I'm assuming things went pretty well.
3.
Okay.
Yeah, it did. I mean, like I tell the guys, at the end of the day, no matter how the track is, you want to go to tracks that want you. It's so much nicer to pull in the pits and have the staff happy that you're there, and it just makes the night start off a whole lot better. And why push it and why force it? Because if they don't return your calls and don't want to race, then why push it? And Beth and Matt are working really, really hard. And as you've seen their schedule, it's pretty open wheel friendly. Mm-hmm. And by the end of next year, if they don't know how to fix a track, they never will, because they'll need to be working that track next year. Or I guess it's this year.
There were some issues for that first race in August last year where you guys ended up having to run on the shorter track. It was a perfect storm, and I felt so bad and that was as much my call as it was anybody's. I mean, we had all these people there, and what do you do? Mm-hmm. And as a promoter, what do you do? Do you say, okay, everybody go home, thanks for coming, and worry about that, or let's race? We were there, we wanted to race. We talked to all the drivers, and if they weren't happy with it, a couple of them left, and that's so be it. Sorry. But I thought the racing was really pretty good. In fact, when I went back and looked at the video, I thought, there's some tweaking that needs to happen, but my goodness, they'll get it. If anybody gets it, Matt and Beth will get it, because they're working hard on it, and they care about it, and they want to make it succeed. So absolutely, we're looking forward to going back there. But they took a lot of grief for that, and I feel bad about it. That inside track is a lot bigger. It's not a go-kart track like some. No, it's not.
Right.
It's far from a go-kart track, and it was really. I thought it turned out really well given the circumstances and what we had to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think some people kind of that weren't there. Remember, there was a go-kart track in the infield at Millstream, and heard that they weren't racing the big track, so in their mind must be thinking, oh, they raced on the go-kart track, which I
that's where that came from.
Yeah.
I wondered how they made that leap, but I didn't realize that.
That's what I'm guessing. I'm not 100% sure, but that's
well,
what
but
I'm
that
thinking.
would make
Yeah.
that's far from. That's not the case at all.
Yeah,
But,
the keyboard jockeys were all fired up over that.
oh yeah.
Although
Yeah.
I would have been interesting seeing a sprint car on the go-kart because it was a real small
Yeah.
go-kart track.
Tenth of a mile.
No, that's okay.
No.
That's okay.
So what events other than the races kicking off the season down in Mississippi? What events are you looking forward to most this year?
I'm looking forward to all of them because I have a new general manager, as you know. I hired Zach Heiser, and
Right.
that's what I've been working hard on this winter. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm gonna be like the stockholder and owner, and be on the board of directors, and I'm gonna worry about the direction and marketing and the direction of our overall group. And because I told the guys, I'm still one of our largest sponsors myself personally. So that means if I don't want to turn down jobs like I did last year. And when I'm on the staff to run the show, puts me in a real pickle. So, we just send out memberships to everybody, and I took my name and address off everything, and it's going right to the staff. So it's going to be right this year. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually getting geared up, and I feel like some pressure's been taken off my plate.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is that's got to take some stress away from you then?
It is. It really is.
And now it's on Zach's shoulders.
And I'm really happy about that. I don't see anything wrong with that. So, and they're gonna, they're gonna be better managers than I am. I'm not a day by day manager. I'm an overall big picture person, and I like putting things together. And I'm proud of what we put together, but I've gone as far as I can go. And now I need good tech people. I need good people at the racetrack to keep the business going, and that's what we're putting in place. So I avoided answering your question only because I like all the races. My favorite thing, honest to God, and why I put all this money into it is I like to do one thing. I like to stand in the bottom of turn 4 when the green flag goes down and those cars take off. There's no better feeling for me, and the hair's standing up on my arms right now because I love that, and I'm somewhat joking. I mean, there's a lot more to it I like than that, but it is. I love the racing. I love standing on the infield and watch those cars go around. There's nothing like it.
Do you ever get a chance to take in any other races?
Nope.
When's the last time you've been to a late model race, other than when late models are running with GLSS?
Well, why do you think they run with us? That way I don't have to go chase them.
I guess that makes sense. So
I like running late models with us. Honestly, if you look at our schedules and you take the non-wing and you take the lightning sprints with them, you tell me what weekends I have available to go watch somebody else race.
Well, you have a general manager now. You can kind of step back.
Well, now,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I mean, and I forget about it a lot of times. My wife reminds me, but I do have a family, and tonight's a good example. I'm sitting outside. I came outside to sit in the car. I'm up at the robotics building because we're trying to get the robot put together for this season because that season it ends up right when our racing starts. But we're trying to get ready for our first meet here in about 4 weeks. So, and my son's in Mary Poppins musical, and so he had practice. He's been at school 14 hours a day the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
So I'm Papa running lunches and meals to the school, and that's about all I get done. So you get me on the phone, and that's about it.
Okay. Well, we won't take up too much more of your time here, but
Oh, that's all right. I always like talking to you
I
guys.
know we could talk for hours about racing. But any procedure or rule changes this year in any of the series?
Not really changes. I mean, the aluminum block has gotten to be a bigger issue. It's been in our rules the last 3 years. The one thing that's made it a little dicey in the last month is Knoxville and ASCS. They have opted to go away from the spec aluminum block from Brodex. I already came out in November and said I was going to allow the Brodex spec block, aluminum block, because I knew the weight of that. I mean, it's a heavier block than, the Lighten, like 1000 HD Brodex block. And I'm not messing with the weights this year. Those cars have to weigh 1,500 pounds, and let's go. And we're going to race. I didn't want to make the guy. I hate bolting on weights anyway, and they're going to have to put on weights and move them around anyway. So that's kind of got to be a little bit of a hot topic, but I think it'll settle down. We're going to do a tech day at Uno March 29th from like 9 to 3, where guys can bring in their cars. We can get them weighed. We can pump them. We can seal them. We're going to do that at Uno on the 29th. And then Owasso Speedway offered their tech building and their facility. And we're going to move up here on the 30th. So the next day and do a tech day at Owasso Speedway. Ironic, isn't it? Doing dirt sprint cars at an asphalt track. But
is there something in the works there for the future, maybe?
There's always something. There's always something in the works. But so I'm going to be scrutinizing that a lot. I mean, I want to be as fair as I can, but at the same time, we got to tech things. So the aluminum block, I don't think it's going to go away. That Brodex special block, it's stamped special on the front of it. There's nothing milled off of it. It still has the bell housing. It has the, it hasn't been lightened at all. It's just like it came out of the mold or whatever. And it's a heavier aluminum block, than like the 1000 HD Brodex. And it's cheaper. It's like $1,200-$1,300 cheaper. So that's really the only, if there's a hot spot, that's probably it. But I think it'll be fine. I mean, we probably have 11, 12 teams that have gotten blocks. But this is the first time in 3 years. We've had it in the rule book for 3 years. So it's not really new, but it's going to be new this year because we got a lot of guys got them now. So
what something that's kind of been a hot topic recently, especially coming out of the Chili Bowl, is tire doping. What's your opinion on that, and how do you guys police that?
Well, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's what'd you hear? Did I sigh too loud?
No, yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
It's always, it's always a possibility, and it's always present. The easiest way I've ever been able to catch it myself is taking an air sample out of the valve right when they come off the track. So we usually smell it. If we really have, we can pull samples, but just like anything, everything you tech, everything costs money.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't think we have a major problem with it. It comes up every once in a while. You get a certain car all of a sudden wins and they're doping their tires. But we also sell most of these guys their tires, and most of them don't go home with them. I mean, they buy them at the track, they get them mounted. But it's an issue. It's something that we have to watch.
One of the
find a way to do something,
one of the reported issues is that guys, and they've been doing it for centuries almost, is using Simple Green to wash their tires, and not that it really softens the tires, but reportedly it takes something out of the tire so that it no longer meets the benchmark. How do you deal
Right.
with that?
I don't know. I've had that used. One time you could smell it. It was so bad. It was off the charts when I sent the samples down to North Carolina. I mean, way off the charts. You would have had to stick 3 pieces of paper together for it to hit the graph. But that was the argument that I was told. Well, we use Simple Green to wash our tires. I said, well, that's not Simple Green, but if that's going to be your excuse, then use something else. I mean, everybody's got some Simple Green around.
Right.
And it's okay to wash things off with Simple Green, but spraying it all down and leaving it set for a couple of days and wrapping it in plastic, well, you're changing I guess that's the definition of treating the tire.
Yeah.
You're changing the compound of that tire. I mean, squirting it on in a bucket and washing the tire and rinsing everything off, I don't think that's going to do it.
Let me ask you guys the other side of that question. Why not just allow teams to tire? I mean, why the hassle of the testing and the expense of the test? Why don't you do like go-karts where they just allow the doping of the tire? Does that create?
Well, that's expected in go-karts.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying, why not in other classes? I don't know the answer. Seriously, I'm not trying to get at anything. I don't know. Is there a competitive advantage that somebody would have over another? But if everybody,
obviously the sanctioning bodies, like the tire rule because it supposedly levels the playing field.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It's. I mean, that's the purpose of it. But it gets difficult. Everything. There's so many things in a race car. I spent the day yesterday with Tim Engler down at Engler Injection. And the things you can learn when you watch them chassis dyno, a motor, there's just so many things that a person can do and work on their own program to make their cars fast. And we get fixated on, well, their motor's cheating or they're doping their tire when there's a dozen other things they can do to make their car fast that are legal. But
and
you got to put the time in. So, and that's my battle. I don't have an answer for you, Scott. I didn't grow up in racing. I love racing. I put my money where my mouth is. I don't like to stand on the sidelines and say something unless I'm willing to step up. And I figured I could do it. And I think we have done it for 10 years. And I'm proud of that. But why people have done things for years, I don't know. And I'm the wrong one to talk to. You need to talk to the higher ups, I guess.
I'm surprised.
My pay grade.
I'm surprised you talk this much about it because I know that you're kind of hands off when it comes to the rules. You let the tech guys take care of that.
Right. Because I've said that many a time.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what's the difference? It'd be a hell of a lot easier. Just let everybody do it.
Exactly. That was,
So I don't totally disagree, but I have to try to keep our series. I don't want to put our series on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of in the heart of the East Coast guys, and the Midwest, and the West Coast guys coming through. So, because I kind of have that attitude a lot. If somebody can't really tell me a huge disadvantage or a huge advantage, then why we even regulate it? Why don't we just let them go? Personally, I'd like to not regulate anything and say, we'll pump the motors. They got to be this cubic inch. You got to use, whatever standards you have and go race. Because at the end of the day, you still got to set up the car and go out and race on the track.
Absolutely. Let's finish things up here by talking about your champions from last year, your defending champions. One thing I found kind of ironic was Max Stamball was the Michigan Cat champion from Lima, Ohio. Your Michigan Cat champion was Dustin Daggett from Portland, Michigan. The Ohio champions from Michigan, the Michigan champions from Ohio. This confuses me.
Well, why? But they're both running the tour.
Okay.
So, I thought it worked out perfect actually. It would have never happened 5 to 10 years ago. And that's kind of the beauty of what the whole reason I bought the NRA to begin with is to unite the 360s. There's a lot of 360s in our region. And that was the script I wrote last year. I want a Michigan guy to win Ohio and an Ohio guy to win Michigan. And it worked out.
Who did you want?
I shouldn't say that out.
Who did you want to have win overall, an Ohio or Michigan guy?
Oh, I at the end of the day, I want things to be as competitive as they can be, which we've done that. I think we had 17 different feature winners. I don't have favorites. God dang it, Scott. What are you trying to do to me? I mean, I'm sure people think that I have favorites, but I really, truly don't. As long as people don't get hurt, they can roll their cars in the box. At the end of the night, I'm happy. And tell Dean Henry, he's right. It's about $200-300 for a tire sample.
I was looking at your schedule. I wasn't even looking at that. Yeah, ask him what it costs to. Okay, yeah. So, you mentioned Phil Gressman. He finished third overall. Max Stambaugh was first overall. Dustin Daggett second overall.
Yeah.
Are these guys coming back to defend their championships this year? Do you know? Or
yeah, they're all being pretty coy about it, but I think so.
Okay.
I say that everybody's looking at their schedules and what they can do. We've got 36 races. If they all come through, that's fewer than we had booked the last 2 years. But we'll see. A lot of guys say, "Hey, we're not going to do as many," and then you start into the season, and before you know it, they're running all of them.
Well, do you think,
that's cool.
Barry? Do you think that with the proliferation of all the sprint car series, is that going to hurt you, or is it not going to be a big factor?
Well, the hurt for me is already done, and that was the shuffle of some tracks. I-96 has a new group going up there. Hartford has a new group going over there. IRA, Steve felt it necessary to make a presence in Michigan again, so I become the battleground all of a sudden, which is okay, because honestly, at the end of the day, I know we have a solid program. I know our payout is extremely strong. I think it's as good or better than any of the weekly 410 tracks, other than the win. I mean, my win is 2,500 to win, but with 2,000 for second, 1,500 for third, and 1,000 for fourth. So we have a solid program. We race a lot of good tracks. We have a lot of double weekends. And I think we have a lot to offer, guys. And I know there's a lot of guys. We've already had 2 guys that have 410s that can go both ways, and they have. And they've committed to run the whole deal with us. So I think from a racing standpoint, we're going to be extremely strong again with our drivers. Because if you look at the roster of drivers that we consistently have, we have a lot of good drivers that show up at every race. I am concerned for the 410s, personally. I really am. I look at all the weekly tracks running 410s. I look at 3 different groups of 410s, and I'm really locally, and I'm wondering where all the cars are going to come from. And we will see. Maybe I'll be wrong.
Realistically, the late models are in the same position because they've got the Ironman series and some other regional series vying for the same pool of cars, and the weekly tracks have to suffer.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
It does. Yeah. I got into this to try to make sprint car racing better in Michigan and for the 360s. It's not because I had a love affair with them. That was what was laid on my lap. That's what SOD was for years, and I picked up the ball and kept it going. I love 410 racing. I've become a bigger fan of 360s the more I've learned about it. And the other thing I like about it from a promoter standpoint is I have a lot more cars to choose from, and it allows me to put a little bit better a little bit better product out there. I mean, I'm proud of the fact that all of our champions still run and come to our races nightly. And like I said, to have 17 or 18 different feature winners out of 35 races, that's pretty competitive.
It is.
I think. I'm a little biased, but I still think that's pretty competitive.
Well,
from a numbers standpoint.
The GLSS has kind of become, it's a well-established series now.
Sure.
You've kind of proven yourself over the years here with that series. Are there any races this year with 305s, like any sanctioned, or will there be any 305 sprint guys?
Well, there may be. I think at Millstream, I thought they had 305s. They're not running. They're running as another division at Millstream.
Okay.
I think there's one of the Sunday
I think
races.
that's the AFCS. That might be the AFCS show.
Yes.
305.
Yeah. There won't be a 305 for 360 challenge. I've got mixed feelings about it. I think it's a cool deal, but for our brand and what we're trying to build, and the race savers and the things we fight down south in southern Indiana and southern Ohio, I didn't really want to dilute GLSS. We're a 360 group, and that's what we are. To me, that's I think we put on a good show last year. We had 45 cars over at Fremont, and from a promotion standpoint, I thought the show went well. But on a week in, week out, our program has grown, and our guys have put a lot of money into their cars, and I have no way of really policing 305s, and not all of them are race savers, and not all of them are 305s. And I don't know enough about them. I'm just saying we're a 360 group. They're always welcome to run with us, but this year we won't have any challenge races per se.
And it's kind of a gimmicky thing, the 305s versus 360s.
Yeah, and it is, and that's all right.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's not
all right.
But
But like I said, I paid out $83,000 in points, and our guys raced 35 races, the ones that followed the whole deal, and I feel I have a commitment to those guys that are committed to us, and not throw in an extra 25 cars that don't run with us, and because it screws up things. You get behind somebody, you get taken out. Not that to do it on purpose, it's racing, I understand, but I just want to kind of stick to our guns and do what we're doing. They're always welcome to race with us, but we aren't doing that this year. But yeah.
Gotcha. Well, Barry, it's always great speaking with you. You got the first race non-point events, Greenville Speedway and Jackson International Speedway, April 4th and 5th down in Mississippi, before the points things get going the following weekend at I-75 Raceway. Where can people find more information about the Great Lakes Super Sprints or the other two series?
If you go to GreatLakesSprints.com, it takes you to a landing page. It has all three of our logos. They click on whichever logo or whichever car looks the cutest or prettiest or whatever one they like, and it'll take you into that. They all have their own website, and then all the schedules as they're getting posted, they'll all be there. Our press releases are all there. Our points funds are there. Our payouts are there. All that good stuff is there.
Great Lakes Sprint Family. I was looking for that site the other day. I couldn't find it.
Well, we own both domain names.
Yeah.
The short version is Great Lakes Sprint.
Yeah. I typed that in and it forwarded me to there. So
yeah, on a forward, yeah, because that's the way it was set up. Great Lakes Sprint Family, because we are a family, Scott.
Yes. Racing
and Ron,
family.
I like late models. Don't get me wrong. I love.
He doesn't run a late model anymore.
Well, I know he doesn't. He's dabbling in other vendor stuff,
doing the truck thing. But Barry, looking forward to seeing you hopefully at one of those shows coming up this year.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, if you see us at Tri-City, that'd be on me again because I'm an idiot. But other than that,
where you lease the facility, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. because they've already announced they aren't opening. At least I think they did.
I'm pretty sure,
If they didn't, I don't want to be the one announcing it. So hey, do your due diligence. But yeah, I'll be around. I mean, I'm the storm activity's been a lot more too, and that's been another thing. Last year I got called out in June, July, and August. So Great Lakes Super Sprints to be flowing whether I'm there or not, but I'm going to be still actively involved for sure.
Awesome. Looking forward to it, man. Can't wait for race season to get started.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. Hey, do me a favor if you would, for some reason I can't answer Dean Henry.
Yeah.
But you tell him we've averaged 25.5, 25.6 cars a night for GLSS for the last 8 years.
There you go. You just told him.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I've been trying to answer him, and I can't. For some reason, it's not letting me answer. But maybe I've already been black flagged.
Probably that
Maybe I should be
probably that spooky voice you started the show with.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, probably that's it.
an echoey robot voice.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
Barry.
I am at the robotics building here.
Well,
Oh.
yeah,
That could be
I was wondering that when you mentioned that. I was like, maybe the robotics thing's messing with it. So,
Mr. Roboto. Yeah.
Barry, always great talking to you.
You guys too. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Ron. And you guys have a great night.
All right,
Thanks,
you too.
Bear.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Here you go, Barry Marlow, owner of the Great Lakes Sprints family.
Yeah.
Great Lakes traditional sprints, lightning sprints, and of course the
And Barry's always a good
main
interview,
series.
never short for words.
Great Lakes Super Series. Yes, I was going to call it the Cup Series of the Great Lakes Series.
That's it.
Great Lakes Super Sprints. Coming up, we'll be giving away the Hammer Down Race Report window sticker once again. If you haven't typed in DCR, hashtag DCR, I'm sorry, in the comments of the Facebook Live or the YouTube Live or Twitch.
Yeah.
Producer Dave's monitoring all of them. All you have to do is do that once, and you'll be in the drawing to win that sticker, courtesy of DCR Graphics. And again, if you don't win, you can always get one of those from DCR Graphics. Last I knew, they were $5. I don't know if he raised the prices this year on it, but it should be right around there if he did. Also, we'll be giving away that East of Chicago in Clyde pizza for How Many tonight, and a chance to win another East of Chicago How Many. And I did get a text while we were talking to Barry when we're going to start doing the trivia for the Oakshade Raceway 50th anniversary season, and we're going to be giving away some grandstand passes. She says they're going to be there February 6th.
Okay.
I'm guessing she's getting them printed, so
Okay.
so
that's
a
when it's
delay in
going
that.
to start.
That's when she'll have them. Then we got to get them from her. So as soon as we get them, then we'll start doing some Oakshade trivia and giving those away. Planning your dream wedding or a special event, make it an unforgettable one with Magic Moment Entertainment. Mention the Hammer Down Racing Report when you book, and you'll get $100 off your reception DJ service. With over 30 years of experience, Ron Burt will make sure your event is perfect. Magic Moment handles everything from contracts to full liability insurance, giving you peace of mind, plus no hidden fees, no charges for mileage or dance floor lighting, ever. Serving Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana, and Kentucky, Magic Moment specializes in wedding receptions, but also excels in corporate events and mitzvahs. They take pride in working closely with couples and clients to create magical moments tailored just for you. Call 419-594-2261 or find Magic Moment Entertainment on Facebook under Magic Moment Entertainment or Ohio Sports Blitz. They're now booking for June and beyond, so don't wait. Make your event extraordinary with Magic Moment Entertainment.
Yeah. Is that straight from GTP?
No, I wrote that all myself.
Oh, you did that? That's pretty impressive.
Took a lot of work there. Coming up here, we got some racing news. We're going to talk about that Brian Shirley
Barbecue?
deal. Barbecue. Yes, that's exactly it. But first, we do have a little bit of racing news.
Latest racing news.
And actually, the Brian Shirley thing is kind of part of that. But,
It is.
Richard Childress Racing announced that veteran driver Casey Kane will pilot a third entry for the storied organization in the NASCAR Xfinity Series event at Rockingham Speedway. Coming up on April 19th, Kane will drive the number 33 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet when NASCAR returns to the Rock for the first time in over a decade. I think it's a Truck Series and Xfinity Series going to be racing at the Rock that weekend.
Now, do you think that's a one-off for Casey, or is there a chance
I don't know. I thought he was done. He didn't really.
Yeah, he's been running some sprints.
Well, I know that
he's
he's running high limit this year.
Right.
Dean sent me a breakdown of who's running which series this year. I believe Kane was on the high limit one again this year. So, yeah, he's been running sprint cars like crazy, but I don't know that he's got a desire to return to NASCAR.
Well, he must, because he's doing it.
Good point. Red Bull is joining forces with Trackhouse Racing in the NASCAR Cup Series. Red Bull will serve as the primary partner on Shane Van Gisbergen's number 88 Chevrolet in 5 NASCAR Cup Series races, as well as the Cup Series debut of 18-year-old Connor Zilich, who will drive the number 87 Red Bull Chevrolet at Circuit of the Americas in Austin on March 2nd. Red Bull was in NASCAR from 2006 to 2011 before, so it's
really
been a while. I didn't realize it'd been that long since.
I think they've still got a big presence in Formula One.
Oh yeah, they got a presence in a whole bunch of things, including. I always see these videos on YouTube of the soapbox derby. That's not really soapbox derby, but they're little racing things of these cardboard weird things downhill and hay bales on the sides, and they fall apart, and there's jumps, and there's lots of crash.
Yeah.
Then they have the ones that fly into the water. There's all kinds of weird Red Bull stuff. So,
gives you wings.
Some not so much, but. We'll get to the Brian Shirley thing here in just a moment. I believe, wait, that's part of that. It seems race fans will soon be able to wager on World Racing Group events. WRG announced a partnership with Alt Sports Data on Wednesday that will enable regulated sports betting on World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, World of Outlaw Late Model Series, American Sprint Car Series, and Supercar Dirt Series. Odds were posted online during the World of Outlaws Late Model Series Sunshine Nationals at Volusia Speedway Park last week. There are restrictions per a rules bulletin published by World Racing Group on January 24th. All race personnel, drivers, team personnel, crew, officials, staff, promoters, track owners, track employees, and competitors in any support classes are prohibited from wagering on the races. They risk disciplinary action, including fines, suspensions, membership revocation, race or event forfeiture or disqualification, and or loss of points and or prohibition.
Scott,
how does that I'm an employee, so but I'm not part of World Racing Group, so I mean, how are they going to enforce that if I were to bet or
in
something?
Team sports, it's really hard for one person to change the outcome. But I'm concerned that, you know, at a $10,000 to win race and somebody's offered $20,000 to run second. Well, I don't think that motorsports is a good fit for gambling.
Well, I reached out to Sam Driggers.
Yep.
From Dirt Car.
Right.
And to get someone on next week's show from World Racing Group to talk about this and kind of see how these rules apply, what the wager, how everything, and you can discuss your concerns about that. That was Barry texting us. Apparently, I forgot to turn my phone down up there in the pot, but yeah. So next week on the show, hopefully we'll have somebody from World Racing Group, and we can ask these questions.
Yeah.
And get some more answers. And Dave did not call in sick because I see him right over here. You guys can't see him, but I can see him over here. That's Dean says Dave called in sick.
That's producer Dave, in case anybody was wondering.
Thank you. Lima Land released their 2025 race schedule earlier this week. It includes the regular Friday night racing, kicking off with the Ohio Cat Great Lakes Super Sprints on May 2nd with UMP Modifieds and Thunder Stocks. Late models will be returning with the Ironman Late Model Series June 27th. That's first time in quite a while since they've had late models. Was it American Late Model Series last time?
ALMS, yes, sir.
Season will wrap up on August 1st with their awards celebration and King of the Quarter Mile races. So a full schedule you can check out at limaland.com, I think their website is. Just do a search.
They quit running late models several years ago because it seemed as though every time they scheduled the lates, it rained, and they
they blamed it on the late models.
Yeah, they blamed it on the late models.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Go figure.
All right, we mentioned this last news story. Brian Shirley, he emerged.
Big news story.
He emerged unharmed when his car erupted in flames at Needmore Speedway with the Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series. While leading the program's third and final heat, the Chatham, Illinois driver's car erupted in flames and rolled to the infield. And we got a little bit of video of that.
That video's been all over the internet, but in case you missed it, this is pretty spectacular.
Including the after. So there you see that. Where'd the quarter panel go?
Well, that's the stacked fiberglass or composite quarter panel, and it melted.
Yeah,
you can see the flames coming out of the exhaust. That's pretty interesting.
So here's what he said. He did get out okay, but this is originally he wasn't sure what happened, and from what I saw from original posts, that he said he didn't realize it was as bad as it was until the track official got up to him and said, "You're on fire! Get out! Get out!" So he did, and then they had some time to kind of look things over. And this is from his Facebook. He posted early this morning from Brian Shirley Racing. The motor hurt a piston while going into the corner, and unfortunately, it went diesel. From there, flames shot out the exhaust, igniting the tire and quarter panel. The heat melted the bladder of the fuel cell, leaving fuel in an aluminum can that wasn't fully welded, causing it to spray out the corner of the fuel cell. So why was the gas spraying out? Well, because the motor was still running and the fuel pump runs off an oil pump on the back of the motor. And then you see a car there just kind of smoking after they finally got that out. The fuel system of the car has a constant flow of pressure going back and forth to the motor from the fuel cell, which couldn't shut off while the motor was running. This meant it was feeding fuel to the fire until the motor finally blew up, shutting down the fuel pump and allowing them to put the fire out completely. The owner of the fuel cell company came by today to personally inspect the cell. It did its job. The cell and the foam inside kept the fuel from exploding. He has some ideas on how to make it safer, and while the fuel cell could technically still be reused, we obviously won't be doing that. He took it with him for R&D. A bunch of folks, including Steve Arpin, Longhorn Chassis, Rumley, Rick Schwally, Steve Francis, FSE Fire Extinguisher, and other drivers have been communicating to learn from this dangerous situation. Thankfully, nobody got hurt. All my lines are from Brown and Miller, from fuel to oil lines, braided, and they all look brand new. None of them failed or busted. If they had, the fire would have spread way faster to the front of the car. Even my brake lines stayed intact. I believe no one builds a product intending for anyone to get hurt. Racing is dangerous and not perfect, but all the right people are coming together to figure out how to prevent this from happening again. And my first question to you before you get into the safety things is...
what?
I know what a runaway diesel is, but how does a regular motor become diesel like that and just...
Scott, I had an issue with that last summer. A radiator hose broke on my race vehicle, and it let the engine get very, very hot, but the temperature gauge didn't register it. So when I pulled back into pits and shut it off, because the combustion chamber temperature was so hot that it was actually glowing, and it kept igniting, thinking that it was a spark plug.
I gotcha. So that's kind of what happened.
No, what I had to do to get it to shut off was cram it in gear, and with the Burt transmission, you push down on the clutch to engage it, and that made it stop.
Lock the engine up, or lock the motor up.
But with Shirley's car, it just kept on running, and I have a hunch that when it burned that piston, it may have been running very hot anyway.
Well, they did say there was smoke a couple laps prior to that.
Yeah. I've got to believe that it wasn't just one cylinder. I think probably all the cylinders, for one reason or another, were very hot. Maybe it burned a piston and the engine was running lean, which would cause high combustion temperatures. And the engine will indeed just keep running without spark plugs.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So apparently all the safety equipment did what it was supposed to.
And I'm sure that Brian was using his SFI 32A/5, which is a double or triple layer driver suit. I'm sure he was wearing Nomex underwear and a balaclava. Now, the weekly racers, and I want you to tell me how much hotter a late model fire would be than a super stock fire. Would a late model fire be any hotter?
I think fire is
fire.
Yeah.
Absolutely. and maybe,
but sprint car fires will be much cooler.
yeah, because they run methanol. Yeah, not hardly. Anyway, most of the street stock guys run a single layer suit, which is a 32A/1 fire rating, which means that in a significant fire like Brian Shirley had, you would have 3 seconds in that fire before it went to a second-degree burn. And with a second-degree burn, you quit thinking rationally.
But that would be if the fire was in the cockpit.
Right.
Okay.
But
Which could have happened.
Oh,
easily.
absolutely. It could have been the left bank that burned a cylinder instead of the right, and the fire would have engulfed him.
Mm-hmm.
In that video, you could see the right header was blazing exhaust. A 32A/5 fire suit, which is a double layer. So you go from 3 seconds to 10 seconds before you go to a second-degree burn. And if you're
what are those numbers again? What was the single layer?
You want the seconds?
No,
the rating?
Yeah.
Okay, you can go to Google and do TPP, thermal protection, a 3.2A/1.
Trans-Pacific Partnership.
No, you don't want that.
I don't think that's the right one. All right, anyways, continue.
Anyway, yeah. So and do your homework, and I like our listeners to double check me. But the double layer fire suit has a fire rating of 3.2. I'm sorry, it's a 3.2A/5, which gives you 10 seconds. And if you're wearing Nomex underwear, it actually gives you a little more than one extra layer because air is a poor conductor of heat, and there's a gap between the Nomex underwear and the driver's suit. So a 2-layer suit should give you, with Nomex underwear, probably 15 or 16 seconds to get out of the car before you get second-degree burns. That's not real long. I did a stopwatch check, and Brian was in the car for 24 seconds before they pulled him out.
Okay. What do you wear?
I wear a double layer, and sometimes Nomex underwear. Depends on the night. Excuse me.
Okay. I'm going to have to check what I have.
Just for grins, a 3.2A/20, which is what top fuel guys use, 40 seconds.
Now, is that the top? Is that the
top fuel? Yeah.
No, I mean, is that the best protection you can get? Or is there anything
Yes.
above that make you look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or something? How many layers is that? Is the 20?
It really doesn't say. I think it's 5.
Okay. Crazy. So would you wear a Dash 20?
No.
Is that too much?
But that fire pretty much convinced me that I will be wearing my Nomex underwear along with my /5 fire suit.
The one thing I don't have is I know a lot of guys will
the
run
balaclava, the head sock.
the head, yeah. How much are those?
$20, $25.
So money pretty well spent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there you go. And, of course, safety equipment available at Ryan Miller Race Cars, your one-stop racing headquarters located in Lambertville, Michigan. Ryan Miller Race Cars has everything you need to keep your racing dreams on track, from custom race cars to parts, safety equipment.
Right.
That was already in there. Service and even American Racer tires. If it's for racing, Ron has it, or he can get it. Give him a call today at 734-856-7223. Let Ron help you gear up for victory. Ron Miller Race Cars, fueling race cars one lap at a time.
Dean Henry
Keeping
reiterated
drivers safe.
that the fuel pump runs off the back of the motor. Actually, the oil pump runs off the back of the motor, and the fuel pump runs off the back of the oil pump. And that oil pump is what kept feeding oil to the motor, which was causing the flames until the fuel cell failed.
So that's all mechanical then.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
as the motor turns, it's
Yep.
pumping the fuel, pumping the oil, which is pumping the fuel.
Yep.
So
It's a vicious cycle. And if it was the heat race, he could have had 30 gallons of race fuel in it.
So was there anything he could have done to get the motor to stop after it starts going like that?
I suppose he could have jammed it
Tried
in
what you
gear and put the brakes on, but
And if that doesn't work, then what? Nothing?
bail out.
Bail out. And that's what he did. So, all right. How about we give away some pizza?
Yes.
All right.
I like pizza.
Do you? I like pizza too. Pizza is good. Pizza is our friend. So let's do this week's
How many?
Actually, last week's how many World of Outlaw late models would be racing Saturday at Volusia.
Right.
You said 27 because you thought it was going to rain.
I did.
I said 28. Do you know what
Because
the real number was?
Like 60.
57.
Yeah.
57 was.
I was
the
stunned
actual
at
number.
that. I was
Yeah.
stunned at that car count.
And Jamie Jalal is this
Really?
week's winner. She picked 55. She was the
Well,
closest.
Sure.
So she
That's
gets
pretty cool.
a large one-item East of Chicago pizza in Clyde. She has 30 days to claim her pizza, and maybe she'll share a piece with us.
I see a
I
road
haven't-
trip in her future.
Haven't had any of the East of Chicago pizza yet.
Oh.
We'll have to get that. So next week, and a chance to win a large one-item East of Chicago pizza in Clyde is how many World of Outlaw sprints will be at Volusia. And that's going to be on Wednesday night. That's the first night that they're going to be there, part of the Federated Auto Parts Dirt Car Nationals at Volusia. And I have to pick first, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Damn it, I hate it when I win. If you want a chance to win a East of Chicago pizza, put your guess in the comments of our Facebook Live or the YouTube Live. You'll have until Wednesday noon. I think that's good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wednesday noon. So if you're listening to us on the podcast, you got plenty of time to find the video. Or
Better part of a week.
Yeah, but almost. Yeah, you can find our Facebook video from Thursday night, and you can put your guess in there. As long as you put your guess in the comments by noon Eastern on Wednesday, you will have a chance to win a large one-item pizza from East of Chicago in Clyde. And again, we're all over the place. 27, 47.
Scott, you're stalling.
I know. Trying. It's part of the plan. I'm going to go with, it's the first World of Outlaw race of the year. And there's no high limit or anything else competing with it. I'm going to go with 41. 42. The answer to everything.
That's it.
That's what I'm going with. What do you got? Over, under?
I'm going under. I was gonna say
Dennis Randall's got 60. He's very optimistic.
I was gonna say 31 because Skylar Hovis said 31, and the Hovis clan
They
has
seem to
been
win,
winning
yeah.
a whole lot of stuff. But since you said 42, I'm going 41.
Okay. That has you covered then.
Yep.
Even if it is that. So, all right. Again, you have until Wednesday at noon to get your guess in the comments of our Facebook Live or the YouTube Live for your chance to win that large one-item pizza.
Or East of Chicago pizza.
Yeah, in Clyde. Speaking of them, we have our East of Chicago Racing Pizza menu for this weekend.
Dennis Randall kind of did a spoiler on that one. He said there's some kind of a race at Bowman Gray.
Is there? I don't know anything about this.
This weekend's racing menu.
Well, first up, we got some racing down under in Australia to talk about here. Let's get rid of that. Dude. Murray Bridge Speedway, Friday and Saturday. It's the Clearview Accessories Australian Sprint Car Championship featuring sprint cars and street stocks. Saturday at Bunbury Speedway, it's going to be the Street Stock Summer Cup featuring street stocks, production sedans, and junior sedans. Albany Speedway also in action on Saturday with the Southern Street Stock Showdown and Super Sedan Summer Series. So the same series, just moving. Wait,
yeah.
What? Did I mess this up?
I don't know.
I must have copied two things. My bad on that. World of Outlaws, I do know this one for a fact. NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series will be at Volusia Speedway Park starting on Wednesday and then going through Saturday of next week. So Wednesday through Saturday next week, the Dirt Car Nationals at Volusia Speedway Park will welcome the World of Outlaws along with the Dirt Car UMP Modifieds. Also coming up, Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Winter Nationals at Alltech Raceway in Lake City, Florida. That's going on tonight through Saturday. Then they're off to the Winter Nationals at Ocala Speedway in Ocala, Florida, starting on Tuesday, and they'll be there from Tuesday through next Saturday, February 4th through the 8th. So this is when things start picking up down in Florida crazy. So, and then speaking of which, as you had mentioned in our little spoiler here, big race, Bowman Gray. Okay, yeah, that is okay. You didn't totally spoil it. NASCAR Cup Series, the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. That's happening. The main event Sunday night at 8:00. That'll be on Fox,
and that's going to be interesting.
Heat races will be Saturday, and those start at 8:30, and those are going to be on FS1. Dave did not have that in my I had to go and dig for that.
Really?
Yeah. So if you want to watch the heat races, Saturday night, FS1, Bowman Gray.
I think the heat races are 50 laps.
I don't know. I haven't seen the procedure for the event. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And the qualifying is just before that race, too. So, and that's, don't forget Garrett Smithley is going to be running at Bowman Gray this weekend. So we'll have to keep an eye on, see if the Hammer Down Racer Report blessing works. So what's the opposite of curse? Blessing. Yeah, that works. We'll see how that works out. That is your East of Chicago in Clyde racing menu for this weekend. And I have it on my thing so I don't forget it this week. So it's time to draw for...
Who's the intermission at the race at Bowman Gray?
Oh, are they going to have a singer? I don't know if they're going to have an intermission. I don't know.
They're having an intermission.
Are they?
Yeah, it's 200-lap segments with an intermission. I haven't heard...
It's probably artists that nobody likes.
Probably. They've been pretty good at doing that.
Well, we're just old guys that we're not hip to the younger artist, but I don't know. Unless it's Pantera or somebody I'm interested in.
Some hip-hop artist.
It's probably not going to be a heavy metal band that I'm into. Probably, I would think Bowman Gray is kind of in a country area, so, I mean, that would make sense if they get a big country artist. I don't know.
I don't know.
I suppose I could have done that research had I known that. But again, it is about time to draw for this Hammer Down Racing Report Windows sticker, courtesy of, actually it's just a sticker, but you can put it on your window, courtesy of DCR Graphics. Hashtag DCR if you haven't done so. You're probably too late now because Dave is going to be spinning the Big D's Pizza Wheel anytime now.
Producer Dave probably would have told us who the intermission entertainer was going to be, but...
He was busy spinning the wheel.
Yeah.
Karen Van Pelt, last week's guest.
There you go, Karen. You won your next.
She was one that asked me today where she could get a Hammer Down Racing Report sticker. So there you go. You have 30 days to pick that up from Ron Miller Race Cars. And again, if you don't win, you can always get one directly from DCR Graphics. Get a hold of them. Look them up on Facebook, DCR Graphics. Just search for that, and you'll get that.
Or if you want to know where Ron Miller Race Cars is, you can look up Ron Miller Race Cars on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Is your address on there?
Yeah.
Or you could call, and I'm sure you'll give them directions. So here you go. So I don't forget to give this to you this week.
Okay.
Karen's thing there. That's going to do it for this edition of the Hammer Down Racing Report.
I thought this was going to be a quick week,
I kind of did too, and then we ended up talking to Barry for quite a while.
Here we are, an hour and a half into it.
Thanks to producer Dave and contributors John Young, Dean Henry, Matt Swander, Bob Stazak. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on X at Hammer Report, follow us on YouTube. You can always listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Again, we're video on Spotify now.
Right.
Because we are breaking new trends.
We are big time.
Video
buddy.
podcasting. Yeah. I guess. I don't know. Check us out at hammerdownracingreport.com. More information on there. You can also join the Hammer Down Army. There's instructions on how you can join the Hammer Down Army on there, or re-enlist, or whatever you need to do. And then if you're part of the Hammer Down Army, the whole point of it is we report.
We're going to talk about you.
Yeah, we'll talk about your racing each week, as long as you.
If we talk about you often enough, we might ask you to be on the show.
Yeah, or like Karen Van Pelt. She kept asking, "How are we going to be on the show?" I didn't win a race or something. She won a championship.
Yeah,
that works.
Here we go.
That works. There you go. Yeah. So, and you can get a hold of us if you have any guest ideas or anything. Let us know. Coming up next month, before we sign off here, got some pretty good guests coming up.
I know that.
So, yeah, we don't want to mention anything. Also, working on a project with Scott Warner.
Okay. Yep.
I don't want to say too much about it yet because it's kind of his thing. We'll talk about that when we're ready to go public with it. So lots of things in the works coming up. Thanks to our sponsors, Oakshade Raceway, Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Magic Moment Entertainment, Victory Fuel, Ty Torrig Racing, and Dominator Race Products. Thanks again to our guest this week, Barry Marlow. Next week, we're going to be talking to somebody, representative from World Racing Group, about the whole gambling policy and everything going on with their series. So we're looking forward to that. So until then, we'll see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. That's a wrap on show number 394. No, 64. Let me try that again. That's a wrap on show number 364 of the Hammer Down Racing Report.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.